Is that the fart?
Listen to it.
What?
Is that you sleeping?
What's wrong? You can't hear?
No, it's loud.
Sorry. So I'm coming hard with this next album, man. I want to just bangers, dude. So welcome back to the show, Open Your Minds podcast. Casper's ears just exploded. He was like, stop it. Stop. Okay, guys, so we're back. Just let that beat just play in the back. More questions. Casper, do you have any more questions for the man of the hour? Nothing. All right, I'll start it off. Donald Trump, let's jump right into this, man. How do you feel about the man, and why are you voting for him? Just kidding.
Well, I really don't have an opinion on Donald Trump.
Come on.
I mean, believe it or not, I don't really care for him. I feel like it's the mainstream media's job to propagandize and promote these puppets, you know, and that's what they're going to do for the 2016 candidates. I don't support or advocate any of them.
You make a great point, because I was looking at a chart, and only because of Trump, people are paying attention to the Republican Party, GOP.
Right.
If it weren't for that, nobody would be paying attention to the Jeb Bush, all these guys.
And what's funny is nobody took him seriously when he ran in 2012, so why would you take him seriously now?
I mean, nobody took Arnold Schwarzenegger seriously, right? And he became governor. That's crazy.
It's
true. Crazy how these actors become, these government officials, just like Reagan.
I don't know. I have mixed emotions right now because I'm hearing you say that it doesn't matter, but I know you got a brain in there, and I know you've been analyzing this dude, and I know you got an opinion on this dude, and it's important. I don't know if it's going to hurt you in votes if that's what you're getting at, but to me, he's the definition of a lobbyist. He is exactly what's wrong with this country.
Exactly.
And when I'm at work and people go, well, people don't want to hear the way he's saying it, but he's got a point, and I'm like,
people are stupid to believe such a thing. Donald Trump doesn't have a relation to the people that clean the toilets in his hotels. So if you can be that detached from the people that have that role in building up your business and creating the billions of dollars that you have, you're making money off of their blood, sweat, and tears. And
you should be grateful.
That's the epitome of greed and what's been going on in our country. And
I want to reiterate.
If he were to be that,
yeah.
I mean, you'd be embracing that wholeheartedly.
He's been caught with his own clothes made in Mexico, made in China. He's been caught donating, and he's admitted it. I mean, they call him out on stage.
He's a dirty business.
And he goes,
man,
he's like, people like me. People like me, okay? So I'm going to do what it takes for people like me. I'm like, so you're admitting you're a lobbyist then. You're admitting you've done this. And you're what's wrong with America. Yeah, we're supposed to vote for you. And Mike made a great point that what if he is just a plant
from the Clintons.
From the Clintons to get us to hate the Republicans to go Clinton or to go Bernie Sanders.
They're all the same, bro.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
They're all the same. They're all friends. They all went to the same university.
The banks always win in these elections because they're the ones that are putting up the money for both candidates, red or blue, no matter what candidate, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Donald Trump wins, because he put money behind Hillary's campaign.
You bring up a good
he's
point.
Supposedly running against her.
What's up with these corporations not paying taxes?
Exactly.
That's crazy to me. It's like, because, Microsoft, for instance, they make tons of money. I was just recently reading an article. IRS is trying to go after Coke for $3.3 billion in back taxes or something. How do you feel about these corporations, with their grip on because do you think that the lobby, obviously they donate money to them, and they donate money to both of the parties. I mean, if you could look at George W. Bush with Al Gore when they were running. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Rage Against the Machine. They have a great video where they're showing, received money shows, and then it shows Al Gore, all the money, and it's all the same people. It's like it's all the same. It's the same gang.
And that's what I feel like is the taking away people's desire to want to go and vote is a way for the elites to take away that right from
take our
people.
Power away.
Exactly.
We outnumber.
Because if they make it all about a systematic system to where people are like, why should I go and vote? It doesn't matter. I don't want to vote for any of them anyway.
I hear it all the time.
The people that are going to go out to vote, those are the people that are going to choose and shape and create our society. So,
but P. Diddy said, "Vote or die."
Hey,
come on,
vote
guys.
Or die for
We're
real.
dying. We're dying right now. We're on our last leg.
Yeah, we need to say that every time. Vote or die, because it's getting serious. And I mean, the way things are shaping up now, it's like there's nobody running for president in the 2016 picture that I would stand behind. So I'm not even excited about going out and voting as much as I love to vote. But there isn't any independent candidate that has stepped up. No libertarian,
They're not
no
given a
third-party
chance.
candidate.
We
but
don't-
nor are they demanding it right now.
How can they demand it when 5 corporations run the show, run the networks, run our TV, run the commercials, run the ads? Everywhere you go, what do you see on
Well,
billboards?
why do we all know about Ron Paul? This whole circle right here. Something happened in that grassroots movement to where he excited people at this level on the underground to
He
where
was
we
amazing.
started to raise up and use our voice to help
Yep.
energize and awaken others. So that's what we need is another
How did
Ron
he-
Paul. I don't know
How did
it's
he
gonna
do it?
happen,
You
but-
asked the question. You proposed a question. What's the answer? How did he do it? How did Ron Paul get? Because I love that dude. He's taught me so much. He's like the grandpa I never had. I'm like, this dude's got so much knowledge. He's got wisdom. He's warning us. He's warned us on video for decades about what's going to happen, the housing crash and all that stuff. The Federal Reserve, everything that he's been saying has come true. I mean, that's what gave that man credibility.
Right.
But he's old, and they used it against him, and they make him look like he's a loony. Because even though in Republican Party and the mainstream media, every time, I mean, if you just look at it, like the debates, when they would ask him, he maybe had 30 seconds. Everybody else has like 50
Yeah.
minutes. It's just
Right.
wild, you know.
Great point. I'm watching the Republican
Yeah.
debate. Donald Trump's in the middle of the people.
Yeah.
He's the guy that they're asking the first question to. He's the guy that's getting the second question, the third question. I'm like, does this dude is he paying for all this? Because everyone's aiming at him.
Right.
Yeah, and what about him like being so like degrading to women, calling women bimbos and fat? It's like, do you really want a leader of the free world to represent that? Like, that is wild to me. That like he's losing. First off, women tend to vote quite a bit. So do black people in America, and then the Latinos are starting to wake up. And I think this is what happened. Is that he's a plant, and now Mexicans, Latinos are really, really upset. Now they're going to vote for the Democrat. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
just thinking of and
Yes.
I might be
You
wrong.
see?
I
No.
might be wrong, but
It's-
that's how I see it.
Yeah,
You got to think of it always as being a chess game.
It
And
is
again,
chess.
if
Saying checkers,
if
motherfucker.
I'm the multi-billionaire trillionaire, the best way for me to win is bet on both sides because I don't lose. And the same thing has been happening since the beginning of time with
Yeah.
this country. It seems like World War I, the Rothschilds betting on red and blue. You know, and World War II betting on red and blue. You see,
They
And
used to
even-
manipulate the market, and they were playing both sides. Whether it was the housing market, they were winning on both sides.
Exactly,
They were-
right.
that is crazy to
Yeah,
me.
because
And
when
they get a little
once
slap
the
on the
market
hand.
started going down, they started buying up the properties and stuff like that. Now, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank owns what, like
Everything.
Exactly. How many homes do they own? And they stole it illegally
Yeah.
from people, and this has been proved with the LIBOR
What do you
scandal.
feel about the Occupy Wall Street movement?
I definitely feel like it invigorated a lot of people, including myself. It definitely brought more awareness to me as well on how to get involved politically. And I think that's what also fueled me to get involved politically was
Perfect.
them saying, hey, you know what? As much as we want to raise our voices and, put our fists up in the air and march on Capitol Hill, we need to find out a way to infiltrate Capitol Hill.
I was
and
hoping
get
you were
in
bringing the
there.
mask in.
It's gonna.
Yeah,
It's gonna.
I forgot it in the car. Believe it or not.
It's gonna take this right here, documented
Yes.
video for later on in the future where we can look back and say, Wildstar did say that. He did
Yeah.
say that. He is saying that, and he's still saying that.
Exactly.
That's what we have to do. Because I mean, how old are you? I'm 30 years old. I haven't been on this planet too long, man. You know what I mean? We forget history. We forget what happens. We repeat it. Media has now taken over where they're dumbing every single person down. Music is dumbing everybody down. They're getting us to hate police so we can, divide and conquer, man, over and over. It happens, and it's going to happen again until we document, until we get to the ears of the kids, because they're the next
Precisely.
ones to vote. And they're dumb as hell. These are the cops. These are the next doctors. These are the next lawyers. These are the next everything.
Yeah.
And if we don't shape their minds now, you're asking for idiocracy.
And that's really why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the future children, not only my own that I hope to have someday,
Yeah.
but the children that I don't know. I really do believe the children are the future, and we're taking away the possibilities of them correcting the errors of the past
Yeah.
by creating more more challenges for them to overcome and less opportunities.
When should a child have a cell phone? This is important.
3.
This is important. You know how tempting these things are? You know how powerful these things are? I can Google anything around the world right now, and I can watch something that's going on around the world, man. Too much power.
I think my kid would have a cell phone when
He could pay for the damn thing.
Yeah.
You ain't taking out the trash, son? Oh, hell no. Mm-mm.
Well, there's
Nope.
things about cell phones that I wouldn't want my child to have it, simply because
Too much access.
and not only that, but too much radiation.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have-
Whoa.
Scientists have ways.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's a technology called graphene that they'll be starting to use to create cell phones in the next 10 to 15, 20 years. And
They're making underwear right now that protect you from radiation by your balls because of it's right by your pocket, and we
But
wear them every day.
there isn't any need to do it when you can have a graphene phone and it's made out of materials that are completely all natural and they won't harm you.
How many people know this? How many people know when they sleep right now, radiation, because you sleep right by your phone. I do all the
Exactly.
time. That radiation is just going right into your dome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of people don't.
And the rate of breast cancer is going up in women because they keep the cell phone right in their bra on their chest, and they
But if this is a method from government, this isn't even a government-made product, but it's all controlled, it's all set up now.
I think it goes hand in hand with the chemtrails, with Wi-Fi. I mean, all these frequencies. You stated earlier in the podcast about, they study us, and I've said this multiple times on podcasts where our taste buds, they no longer make food with a chef, but it's with a scientist. So they know everything about us, and our it's just electronic sparks in our brain. That basically what it is, So like they know how to get our attention. The subliminal messages. Remember last time we were watching, what was that cartoon? Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah.
Something like that, and just like multiple subliminal messages that are there. It's just
they call it
wild.
response to stimuli.
There you go.
It's
Exactly.
It's the way to zap us and get a response, and they know exactly what to do to create that type of the type of response. that they
Exactly.
want.
I truly believe that money is so powerful that people will, in fact, forget about life itself when it comes to making that profit.
Yeah.
And I think anyone in this room would easily be a victim of it if they were brought up a certain way and didn't really realize to have the heart to say no.
And that's why I really feel like if I were to be elected governor, one of the main things I would like to do is expose money for what it is. And that's a tool to manipulate us. It's in control of our food. It's in control of our water. It's in control of our shelter. It's in control of everything. And there isn't any reason why it should be. And people need to start focusing on how we can use money, the tool, to create that type of structure, that atmosphere where we have those securities in place. Is money well spent? Now at that point, if I have a house that's built on solar power with a garden in the back, I don't need to worry about a roof over my head. I don't need to worry about electric. I don't need to worry about food on my table. So that takes away those expenses that I once paid for.
But they're doing the opposite. I mean, the crash of the housing market in '08. Now everybody rents.
And that's because, and with all of the houses that have been taken away, and
Donald Trump is a perfect example. That this guy has lobbied and talked to governors, mayors for low income places, so that way they could evict everybody. Essentially, he could scoop up on the property at a good rate, and boom, he makes his skyscrapers. That's the thing they're not saying about Donald Trump. This guy's a scumbag. He's not self-made. He's not self-made. He inherited apartments, money. He comes from money, and that's what I try to debate with a lot of people sometimes. Like, look, in my family tree, and I'm not ashamed to say this, but a lot of my parents don't have degrees from a university, accredited university. My dad probably dropped out of school like he was in high school, but he never got his high school diploma. My mom dropped out because she got pregnant. And, I could just go down the road. My grandparents, I don't even think they ever finished elementary school, like compared to other people. Where their grandparents, great-grandparents, had education, had formal education. So they already knew. They already had, they were already a head start, I would say. To where me, I'm like the real first generation born here. I'm trying to make a difference. And the thing that does encourage me, I see my cousins having little kids, and they're so advanced with their mind. They're speaking English. They're learning all the right things. So there is hope. I really do feel, because education is the key.
Definitely, and I feel like if education was given the opportunity to thrive as well without government influence, then the people that are going to those educational facilities would benefit more.
What would you do for the system, the school system in California specifically?
I would reform it to where there would be educational centers. The schools that we know it wouldn't exist with me as governor. I really feel like, again, in order for the future, for us to be prepared for that future, we need to start thinking in a way that's a type 1 society, where we start caring for one another. And so with an educational center, if you build a building where you can go in and you can learn whatever skills necessary to go out in the world and do whatever you need to. And that's the thing is with schools now, there's people paying thousands of dollars in tuition to learn all of these types of skills that don't even apply to why they want to go to school. A lot of them come straight out of college, don't even know what they want to do in life, and they spent 2-3 years in college spending all of that money, you know.
School loans.
Exactly.
It's a new age slave is the way I see it. Debt is a new age slave because if you even declare bankruptcy, I've said this multiple times, you know that you still are liable for that loan. They will garnish your wages up to 15%. 15% of my wages, that would be devastating to me on a biweekly and monthly basis. You know what I mean? So like when I see these students, why is it that we're going after the students? And I think it goes hand in hand with the prison because they don't want you educated. What happens to an educated mind? I mean, you this is my look on education. Education is one thing only: thinking critically. That's really what it is. Because when you can sit there and question and break it down and really comprehend to what extent, because let's be honest here, I've said this multiple times, this country is a business. It was based on cotton and based on tobacco. Look at the history. It really is.
Right. I mean, even the schools now where they implement the whole Common Core.
Oh, how do you feel about Common Core? Would you implement that in California?
I hate talking about
definitely.
this.
We can move on then if you like. But
No.
No Common Core with Governor Wildstar.
There we go. Thank you. Let's get rid of that shit.
But look who's behind it. Bill Gates.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Another way to dumb us
billionaire.
down.
Billionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, are you a conspiracy theorist?
I'm a conspiracy realist.
Ooh, checkmate.
Booyah.
I'm just gonna shut up now.
That's the thing is it's only called a theory until you can prove it factually. And with the theories that are out there right now, there's facts to prove them, you know.
I'm gonna totally just break everything you just said into pieces and say what is real? How do we prove anything? What's a fact?
A fact is like during 9/11, there were scientists that discovered thermite in the structure of the building, which caused the fire to burn hotter and caused the
smoke for 3
building
months?
to melt.
Are these scientists still alive?
They are. They are.
I asked that for a reason because I'm watching documentaries of a dude who was in Building 7, which is a completely, to me, is an obvious. 3 buildings went down, yet whenever we go somewhere...
People don't even talk about
it's
Building
2
7.
buildings that went down.
Exactly.
And I'm like, there was a third.
Explain Building 7.
There was a dude who was hanging out of the window, and he said he heard a lot of explosions in Building 7. And even the person that owns Building 7 stated that he put demolition inside to break it down.
Yeah.
You can't do that in an hour or two. It takes a lot of planning and blueprinting to get something down like that.
And those are facts. And at that point, it's irrefutable.
Right.
So, and that's the thing is we need to start recognizing the things that are irrefutable about these situations.
Well, I've been doing a lot of research. 9/11, for some reason, you know, I love reading into it. So I was reading into Building 7, and again, you know, I was saying earlier about the missing piece of the puzzle. So I guess Building 7 is very unique because it housed CIA, FBI, Secret Service. Not only that, the craziest thing about it, though, is that it was made specifically for emergencies.
And the mayor's office.
Yeah, exactly. All in one place. How convenient.
Right.
And not only that, you know, the day before, you know, Donald Rumsfeld stating that $2.3 trillion cannot be accounted for. Wild, right?
It's called a red herring. It was immediately to throw off our attention to something else.
Exactly. Oh, would you say it was a false flag?
Red herring.
Yeah, same concept.
Well, no, false flag attack is, you know, the government doing something and blaming it on something else. Red herring, just conversational wise, it's just when you're speaking to somebody and they introduce another topic to throw off the last one.
I see.
So that's what happened with the American public and 9/11 was as this investigation was happening into the Pentagon and where all of this money went, all of a sudden
Well,
attention elsewhere.
the way they were selling it after I was reading it was that they were saying that it was probably a controlled demolition because there was too much information. They were scared that the terrorists would get to it, so that was their way of saying, oh, we had to bring it down, guys. But what's really crazy is that this is the main center for emergencies. Like, how is it that it came down because of fires? Because in the history of mankind,
Not to mention, with all of the video cameras around here, where were those?
Well, we did Annie Up. That was a long time ago. That was 2001, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're in 2016. Things have changed, dude.
No,
Drones
even then-
drones are taking over.
Yeah, but even then in 2001, if this is supposedly the hub of the
Yeah, you're right.
intelligence and military of our whole country, why is it not more outfitted with video cameras? Why are they going around subpoenaing, taking video cameras from gas stations and surrounding
that have not been
hotels?
released.
They will
Yeah.
never be released.
What about
Never.
the Pentagon? That video of the airplane going in to the Pentagon, and you don't see the actual plane going in. And if you look at the way the building's at, there's no wings. I mean, it's just a hole. It's just like a hole inside the wall, and there's no span of where wings would be. So that threw me off in a sense. I'm just hearing so many
And
things.
see, and that's what happened is these conspiracy theories turned to facts for me.
Right.
And after 9/11, I saw a movie called In Plain Sight, or a documentary, I believe. But it was a journalist who basically went out and did it on his own because he was coming across this information, and he's like, I'm just giving it to you as plain as it is. And that's why it's called In Plain Sight, because he really delivers it to you in a neutral fashion without opinion and lets you generate your own. And so with that information, I couldn't help but, know that these people were involved.
Put two and two together.
Exactly. And that's the thing is,
I don't think
there is no accountability to the point that where the American public is actually given the truth anymore.
And we won't get the truth like we didn't get the truth with JFK until 20, 30 years later.
Right.
We start finding more clues and we start finding more answers, but we're not as pissed off anymore because it's so long ago. We're all old. I'm going to be like 50. I'm going to be like, I don't care.
I saw this one really unique video by a comedian. I believe his name is Trevor Moore, and he has a TV show called Whitest Kids or something like that. But he did a stand-up, and with these parodies, he did a song about JFK using cats. And the song is just so clever.
Pull that up, Casper.
You have people watching it, and they're watching the song, and, at first they're laughing, but then it starts getting serious because he starts talking about 9/11 and the connection with Bush and the CIA and how he was involved. And,
How do you feel about, the aftermath of that, like the creation of the NSA, for instance, where every text message, every query on the internet, everything that you do when you do the stroke on your keypad, everything is being saved in a center in Utah, I believe. How do you feel about that?
I feel that's completely unconstitutional, and it's definitely illegal.
Along with the Patriot Act?
Oh, yeah, of course. And the people that implement it and are going on along with it should be arrested and treated as criminals. And that's the thing about the Nuremberg trials was when, when Nazi Germany happened, you had accountability. We haven't ever had a Nuremberg trials with America. There haven't ever been any accountability for slavery in this country. There hasn't ever been any accountability for...
But that was so long ago.
What about Indians?
But there comes a point where we need to establish a line in the sand. And that hasn't ever been done. And that's why we, the people, keep getting treaded upon. It's because every time we feel like someone steps up to the plate, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, doesn't matter. Draw that line in the sand. JFK, draw that line in the sand that they're going to be, taken off, and then we're screwed.
What about Black Lives Matter? You were one to say that you do not support these dudes.
I do not.
Why?
I think they're imposters. Because I feel like, if anything, they're out there perpetuating more stereotypes of what the
They're
what's
giving more
feared.
fuel to outlets like Fox.
Exactly.
I was reading an article where this man actually vandalized. I think it was in Texas. I think he vandalized his own vehicle, because he had Police Lives Matter and it got vandalized. He did it himself, was blaming it on Black Lives Matter. They ended up finding out it was him, and he was getting money on a GoFundMe page on the internet. It's just crazy the extent that people will go. Imagine how many people did that back in the day and got away with it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the
wild.
Koch brothers were behind Black Lives Matter, you see? So we got to just look deeper. And what I feel like is if I was involved in Black Lives Matter, I would
Switch it to All Lives Matter.
Exactly.
I mean,
and I would
you're
promote
kind of,
for people to get involved.
Isn't that
politically.
indirect racism in a way, where it's like Black Lives Matter? It's like, well, fuck, I'm brown, dude. Like, what's up? Like,
Yeah.
I don't matter.
It's a way
like,
to
what's up?
divide us
Yeah.
again.
Well,
you know?
I think it was
I
a
think
step
it's an
of saying,
agenda.
you know, African Americans are like the lowest population in this country. The most, like half of them are incarcerated. It's like these guys are desperate for help. You got a lot of, all cops out there are white, and then there's like a few, like maybe two that are black that are out there on the field. I mean, how are these African Americans supposed to relate to these dudes that don't know anything about what it's like in the hood?
Right.
I've always said that. I mean, I come from a very ugly area, man. That's why when I hear NWA, you want me to play that music? Get out of my face. You know why? Because that music draws violence.
Yeah.
But at the
That
same
music,
time,
hold on, let me finish. That music just pisses people off to the point where you want to kill people. I've been around that stuff, man. I know what it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's like their bigger brother telling them what to do, and you can't.
And you got to also remember that behind that is is an audience saying the black agenda comes with violence.
Yeah.
That's not true.
What's the
It's not
stereotype
true,
of a
no.
black dude? You got a sagging pants, and you got
Yeah.
tattoos everywhere, and he's a thug. To me, like I've been around so many different cultures. I see it every day where I work at, and I go. Why have they created this stereotype?
Well,
Who's
how does
created
that
this
make you
stereotype?
a threat? When I got to court, you know that the officer was on the stand talking about how big I was and all of this stuff. Why
How
does
tall
that
are you?
matter? 6'4". And so even if I was 6'9", 300 pounds, what reason should you have to be threatened by me?
Yeah, I
Unless
see.
I'm posing a threat to you.
But-
Unless you're ending up, yeah, like you put your hands together, you're
Exactly.
tightening up, you're
Right.
getting real upset, and that's a demeanor that's saying I want to hurt you, or maybe I want to defend
But if I'm
myself.
saying, please stop,
He put his hands
I
up.
hardly think that's threatening at all.
I do feel that some of these people, though, that regardless of the music, it's like they were kind of like reporters because nobody really cared about them until they started, until white kids in suburban America started playing this music. Just like a lot of these people that got, like, where their fathers are CEOs of music labels and companies are like, well, what is that? Oh, this white kid's listening to it. You know what I mean? And boom.
I think
it's like,
Tupac was one of the like very rare dudes to actually say his story, like you said, a journalist, but actually say I want help. Like, come on and help us. Where NWA is like, fuck the police. We're gonna spray everyone. We're gonna do drugs. We're gonna do what the fuck we want to do. And that's where we have, like you said, draw the line. Like, where are we crossing that line where we become like terrorists? That's like
Yeah.
terrorism
But-
music, man.
Exactly.
At the same time, to rebuttal that, I'll refer to Spice One. Spice One admits I've never gangbanged. I wasn't in it. He's like, I'm telling the stories of other people that I've known that now, they have to know about this certain things so that they don't go that route. You know what I mean? Like, there's other options in life too. And
That's
he
not
was
what
just,
I'm hearing. In the
But I
music.
am down for FTP. There wouldn't be any police under me, and that's the thing, is because we've given them so much power, they feel like they can go around being a threat, like the officer in the video just pulling me over for no reason while I'm driving to get gas.
Yeah.
it's racial profiling at its finest.
And because that climate exists, you have to wonder what is fueling that. And what's fueling that is people's susceptibility to it.
Yeah.
We allow it to happen, and we just say, it's okay. It's just another black guy being harassed by it. But until
You're
it gets to the point
desensitized.
where desensitizing
It's so
us.
normal.
So he is right by saying, the issue of race is a hot button issue to where once you bring it up, people try to, fray
Diffuse
away
it.
from it.
But what was Martin Luther King trying to tell us? That we can change things peacefully, we can assemble, we can march, and they can try to do all the harm they want, but our love is going to defeat that.
Exactly.
And it did. Where
Yeah.
Malcolm X is like, you push us, we're going to push you back. You shoot us, we're going to shoot you back. And then
But he changed.
that's what I was going to say. I'm a big fan of Malcolm X. Matter of fact, I watch it when I'm driving in my car. I got a little stereo with a screen on it, and I'm watching the documentary right now because I have it on DVD. But I'm a big fan of Malcolm X. Very intellectual man, very stimulating the way he preaches and the way he breaks it down to us. I wish more of us were like him, where we
Yeah.
had the
But
discipline.
he
and-
started out as a drug dealer. He used to carry a gun. He was a pimp. You know, like he went through all these things and he was able to change. And that's the thing that I truly believe.
through prison.
Regardless of, that's debatable. But, you know.
He changed through prison. He was locked up for 10 years. And one of the guys he looked up to changed him.
Introduced him to the Quran.
Yeah,
and then
for Muslim.
he became a spokesman for the Muslim religion, and just a very tall dude, very tall, very outspoken, great voice. You know, that's why I look at Wildstar and I go, this dude can do it.
Yeah.
But people are gonna look at him and go, Wildstar, he's wild.
Yeah,
I want to be around a wild man.
Yeah. But the
But-
point I was trying to make is that change is possible regardless, you know, and like
Of course,
sometimes
I
like
changed.
NWA might have started out a certain way, but they do you could change eventually. You know, these are kids in their teens. Like I mean, the way you were thinking at 18, 16, 17 to 25 to 30 to having
And
kids
I
40
understand
and
that part.
50.
I still don't agree with. I look at myself as kids all around me trying to say, be like me. And if I'm saying listen to NWA because I listen to NWA, what does that say? I mean, these guys, that was them when they were 18, like you just said. They're grown men now going,
Yeah.
damn, I need to change my music, like Ice Cube and all that, because they know that was stupid of them to do. Public Enemy was changing the whole game, man. KRS-One. All these dudes are trying to preach to us, telling us, don't fall into the trap of the system that's waiting for you. Sure enough, we got the most incarcerated people in prison right now.
But they
per
knew
capita.
what they were doing. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Is and
course.
at some point you got to be able to explain your actions.
But did they know any better?
Right.
That's the thing. Is
And
that I'm
at
trying to
that
make a
time,
point
Money
of.
is powerful.
At that time, they
and I
did
agree
not
with you.
know
Right?
any better.
I agree with you on that one. Mike,
And
I
they
do.
were responding to a sentiment at that time where
Exactly.
again you had black men being killed by
look at
police
the Watts
again
riots.
at another alarming rate.
But is
you
this
know,
music?
as
Is this
always.
music gonna solve the issue, or is it going to escalate the issue?
Precisely.
Because there's white men waiting for these
And
privatized prisons
that's
to
where
make
as
a
an
profit.
artist you need to take responsibility for your music, for what you do, what you provide
Who-
to your listeners.
Who's a good artist that you would say has a good message or that stands by, you know,
DJ Lou.
who's somebody who stands by, you know, behind their actions? Like, hey, you got to be responsible for what you do, what you say. For me, instance, I'm going to say Bob Marley. You know, I love listening to Bob Marley. I feel like he was really true to what he did. He helped out a lot of people. When he was in Jamaica, people used to have a line coming up to him like, hey, I want to start this. Boom. He would help them out. He would finance them, you know, where like now it's like you see the Little Waynes, the Birdmans, all these. I don't see them in their communities, you know. They're there when, yeah, a guy gets you know, a man's murdered by a white cop or something. But what else? What do they have to do in order to change that perspective of their music and say, is it through action or
There's
what is
two
it? Do they have
questions
to
I
right
would
do?
there.
say one of the few hip hop artists that is that to me is Talib Kweli.
Okay.
Because he was one of during the whole Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
He was one of the
He
few
was.
hip hop artists that were actually out there connecting with the people of New York. You know, out there marching, out there intense. You know,
Correct.
and that it's that connection with the people that hip hop is supposed to represent.
It's been hijacked.
Exactly, and it's been
Where did
hijacked
it
by
start from?
corporations. you know.
NWA, where did it start from? Sellouts, where did it start from?
But-
People using the black
and
image
exactly.
to
and you're right about that.
manipulate.
Iggy Azalea.
Black
And
people
it
just
was-
got the
It
rights.
was
What?
the record labels using them, telling
But
them
let's go
to-
back. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. These men died, put their lives on the
But
line.
look at the music that was out then: Earth, Wind, and Fire, and
Love,
you know,
respect. But what's
Making
wrong with
babies.
that?
Al
music.
Green. Yeah.
What's wrong with that music?
Marvin Gaye. I mean,
What's wrong with that music?
there isn't any like that anymore, and that's exactly my point. Is
There is.
I'll
there is.
tell you who.
There is, but there are only one or two singles from
And it's-
Usher, and then it don't matter if you want to be a
Well,
stripper. I understand.
I don't mean like crooning or anything. I mean love in music, and that was what was being promoted in the music back then versus now.
There was a word they used. It was called soul brothers and stuff like that. Why? Because it came from your soul. You were really, really about it.
Yeah.
And today, it's about this. It's about that paper because we're all slaves to it,
Yeah.
and they know how to manipulate it. We're putting it out like it's nothing. But I want to really just go back to what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X did, because if we had people still on that tip, which I don't see anymore. I rarely see people that are going up, getting people together, preaching, putting their lives on the line, getting shot and killed for it. I mean, I feel like that's what we're doing right now. It sounds scary, but I feel like that's what we're doing because
Yeah.
like, my mind is set. I'm not going back to NWA. I'm not going back to gangster rap. I'm going straight forward, man. Straight
Exactly.
positive, straight from the heart, hard beats, a strong message, getting a posse around me that's really gonna be strong, like an alliance. But through love, through civil disobedience. We're not going to go to that point where we're all going to get killed for something stupid.
Because you can achieve it quicker that way.
And when people start seeing that, even though the mainstream media is no longer controlled like it was before, I felt like media was controlled by good people back then, and you had the news reporting the wars. You see people getting killed on live television. You would change your mind real quick. Today, what's going on in Afghanistan? What's going on in Iraq?
You don't see Tiananmen Square or, anything like that on TV anymore. Anything to say, you know what's going on is wrong. And for people to step up to that, they're not showing the killings of drones in Pakistan that's happening on
TMZ.
TV.
It's where's Kim Kardashian's butt? It's filth.
Precisely.
So I continue to explain this. I'm saying we don't need mainstream anymore. We can make our own television shows. Look what you're looking at. I made my own TV show. I got you in here, a big brain, a dude that wants to get something done. And that's the only kind of people I want on this show, are people that are trying to make that change. And whether or not we do it, we gave it our best shot, and we will continue to do our very best until we either get killed or we make the change.
Well, we're not getting killed, but people definitely need to step up and be serious about it, just as serious as we are. I mean,
where's our moral compass?
Exactly, and it doesn't matter the amount of resources that you have. Even if they seem limited, if you galvanize and connect, you'll see that you have a lot more accessible. There's more accessible to you than you think.
The crazy thing is, though, about the Martin Luther Kings, where's the Malcolm X? You know where they're at? They're taking them out of textbooks. That's what's happening. I've read various articles where there's a lot of schools that are just like, we don't need to talk about slavery. We don't need to talk about Martin Luther King.
Right.
And this is what I've always stressed about tablets and the digital age that I'm fearful of. Besides artificial intelligence, the Terminators and all that, is just that, okay, you get rid of books. It's so easy to change history because everything is now digital.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest fear is that, it's just wild.
I have a weird theory. Sorry to cut you off, Mike.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are now dead. In the 90s, what did we have? Martin,
Mm-hmm.
and Shanae. And then we had Steve Urkel. Looked just like Malcolm X. He had the trim and then he had the glasses on. Mm-hmm. We were slowly starting to merge in idiots to take over for legends.
Yeah.
So we didn't care about what happened before.
Exactly.
Just like we don't care what happens now.
Nobody believes in boycotting anymore.
Great point.
I mean, as much as one of the few things was when I started out as, I guess, being more vocal about my ideas was when at that time I used to ride the bus. Mm-hmm. And I would get up on the bus and I would make statements about what's going on and why you need to wake up.
Ballsy, man. I could never do that.
Wake up, you sheep.
You, sir, you're a sheep.
And as I would do this, I would tell people about what was going on with the bus. And I say, how MTA is raising the prices and how we can't afford it and how we can fight. And I would get asked, what do you do about it? And I'm like, let's boycott. People back then.
It's so inconvenient, though.
Exactly. It's too much of an inconvenience on their day-to-day lives, and that's the part that people don't want to sacrifice.
Who did that though? Who was told she can't sit in the front of the bus, was taken to jail, and then the blacks started going, "Hey, F the buses.
Exactly.
F them.
Yeah.
We're not going on them anymore."
But we don't.
And they would lose sales.
Even if we heard about a Rosa Parks situation today, do you think people would get so infuriated to where they would boycott
unless she was
the buses?
shot by the police?
And even still, they still would be on the bus supporting the system and not fighting it.
You know what's so crazy is consumerism. Consume.
Yeah.
And I always say this. I'm like, why is it that you have to have the Michael Kors, the Gucci, the Louis, and it seems like all these main... I'm not even going to say just rappers because it's everybody. It's just every rock star out there. You got to have the Bentleys, the Maseratis, things that are very unattainable. And it's just all materialistic. What happened to just, being happy that you have a pair of shoes, being happy that you're alive, being happy that you have a shirt on your back. I just feel like it's all been hijacked. And obviously it goes back to the sellouts where even, where you had a lot of these rappers with the St. Ives or the Colt 45 commercials. And it kind of goes back. It's like, oh, well, Snoop Dogg drinks this or Snoop Dogg smokes weed. I'm going to do it too. You know what I mean?
Well, the degradation of values happened in everyone's home, whether it started in, the hood or it went to suburbia. Yeah. And it was all, again, to get us on the same page where we are now to where they can just lead us off the cliff.
We have to break minds. We have to
Precisely.
We have to just explode people's ability to think. And when I say that, I always do this to people. I go, you realize right now, right? We're sitting on a ball, right? That's floating in outer space, right? and we're all on this ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we don't know what we're doing here, right? And then people look at me like, "What the hell is he saying?" Think about that shit for a
Right,
second.
they don't
We are really
understand.
on a ball
Yeah,
right now that's
exactly.
floating in outer space.
It's called
Going around
Earth.
a fireball.
It's amazing,
People
man.
don't even take in that concept anymore, and that's what I'm saying.
It's
Is
too much to
thinking
absorb.
deeper.
I've been doing that since I've been smoking weed when I was like 15. I'm like, wait a second, there's an outer space, right? But what's outer space? And then people go, you think
And
too
what's
much. man."
keeping us in place?
That's a trip. And are we just like an experiment with like the sun being the lamp, and we're like the ant farm where that thing just goes around and keeps us alive for a little bit longer. If you look around the other planets, though, they're not alive anymore.
Right.
So maybe either those planets exploded each other like we're about to do with North Korea and all these other stupid countries, or it's something bad happened. We just over pollution, overpopulate. I don't know what, but that's
It's like
why.
a last chance to get it right.
Exactly.
Because even scientists have said that at some point there was life on Mars because of the amount of water that it
And then
had.
global warming started.
And that's
Yeah,
how I know
man,
you're
so-
down to earth dude, genuine dude. Because when you say you were on the bus, what does that tell me? That you've been through some struggles.
Oh,
You've been
yeah.
through some times, and that's my whole life story for you, bro. That's why I'm so genuine when I just say I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and all the people that are listening, they can say what they want to say about me. But I'm gonna continue to do what I do, and it's think, it's to wonder, goof around, joke, laugh, and cry. All that.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I'm not gonna
Because
cry.
there comes a down to earth mentality with being a working class, person. You're part of it. I don't want to say citizen, but being part of the working class, you know what it takes for that everyday struggle.
The grind.
Exactly. Opposed to where the person at the top of the corporation, they don't have an inkling of how that life
They got
lives.
endless amounts of open doors. They can go around the world, sleep at the best hotels,
Yeah.
do what they want to do, and they never think twice. That's the thing.
Endless amount of resources opposed to where ours is limited.
Yeah, I work
And
at
how
some
is
place.
that fair?
Yeah, it's not fair at all. But when we get the time to think and we get the time to wonder, we start to create, we start to analyze, we start to find a fix.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need in this country is someone to find a fix, not someone that's got TMZ asking them questions and stuff. I hate TMZ. It's like
Why the
that's
Pope,
our news.
that's
And
why the
that's
Pope is
exact-
coming to America,
Right.
guys. Come on.
And that's the thing. I'm my motivation isn't money. My motivation isn't fame. It's all just to fix what's right and serve the people and be that humanitarian that we're all supposed to be.
But
know your life purpose, and I know mine. Being born here on this planet, as many occupations as I thought I could do growing up in life, it wasn't until that spark of energy that awakened me to my true
calling.
calling.
It's like Immortal
Exactly.
Technique said, purpose of life is to live for a purpose, so I'd rather die for a cause than live a life that is worthless.
Exactly.
I go, whoa, well, that's big. I
Yeah.
wanna do the same. And when you look at how long we live what, 60 years, 70 years if we're lucky, 80 if we've been eating right, not McDonald's like me. You're gonna have a short lifespan. So make the best of it. Smile every day. Think
what's going to be your legacy?
and document it, man. I try telling people, record it, because you're going to look back 10, 20 years like, did I really say that? Was that really me? There's no more time to try to impress people. There is no more impressing. There's too much media out there. There's too many pop stars out there. There's too many stupid videos out there. There's no time to impress anybody. Say what you got to say. But we got 14 more minutes. I'd like to go around the room with the closing statement. I'm sure you got more to say, and we're going to leave it like that. But Mike, you wanna wrap the show?
Go for it, bro.
All right, I'll wrap it then. I basically just want to say that this show is dedicated to anybody out there that wants to be involved. If you want to be involved, if you want to just learn, come in here and sit with me and Mike and talk for 5 more hours. You're more than welcome to do so. I don't hold anybody back unless you're a criminal. I do background checks. But Wildstar, it's great to have you on the show. Did you vote for Obama?
I did, unfortunately.
I did too.
First
but
time
I-
or second time?
This
First time.
Yeah,
you
me
fool
too.
me once,
Fool
not
me
twice.
once, not twice.
So, and I wised up to it real quick, and that's the thing is we need to stop giving politicians the benefit of the doubt. If
Did
they
you vote for him because he was black?
I did. And I also voted for him because I believed in his ideals. Whether he was white or black or whatever, he sold me on
He
what he was
spoke the
talking
talk.
about.
He spoke it. He
And
really
that's
did.
why-
He's very well
Great
educated,
speaker.
That's
very
why
well
the
spoken,
second time
great
around,
spoken.
once I started hearing what Ron Paul was talking about, I then voted for him because that was the voice that I wish I had have heard the first time around. That
Yeah.
I still wish the world would become more familiar with. And if I have to be an extension of that voice, then so be it.
Beautiful. It goes to show you, though, how easily these politicians, I remember Mike saying that I want to listen to the bad news like CNN and Fox because I want to get into their brains. Well, I find myself doing the same thing with these Republican debates. I start to agree with these guys. I'm going, hey, Rand Paul, he's making some sense. Or what's that one Mexican dude? He has, or not Mexican, he's like Cuban.
Rubio?
Yeah, Rubio. And I'm going, man, he's talking some sense. And then I go, they're probably bluffing or something because I'm buying into this and I don't know who to trust anymore. And that's the thing. My wall's already up. I can't trust a lot of people anymore.
And that's the thing is their job is to sell you. They're salesmen trying to get a job, you know?
And even Donald Trump, when he first came out, I was at the car wash and they had a screen so we can watch. And he was doing his speech and I'm going, I had my fries and I'm like, this dude is coming out pretty good.
Right.
I like what he's saying. And then I started doing my research. I started watching Dave Letterman when he pulled out his clothes and said, where was this made again? And he's like, I don't know.
He didn't even know.
And then it's like, oh,
He did know.
China.
He
Made in
acted like he
China.
didn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the guy's so rich that he can lie and lie and lie. And at the end of the day, win or lose, whatever.
Precisely. And like I said, even before he put money on Hillary and her campaign. So what's to make us think that, again, like my man Mike over there said, it isn't to elude voters to where they're like, well, I'm going to vote Hillary just because, and not paying attention to her
She's a
history.
woman.
Yeah.
Or she's just the opposite.
Exactly.
And we need to stop thinking that the lesser of two evils is better of us. I mean, because no good deed ever comes from choosing between two evils.
I want to bring something up. Ellen, Ellen DeGeneres. Sorry, I couldn't say that. She
That's
has
a
a
tough
show.
one.
Sorry, guys. No, long show. So Hillary Clinton was on there, and they get her to do "Now Watch Me Whip," "Now Watch Me Nay Nay." You know that whole dance. So she's
Yeah.
doing it, and I see this meme about it. It's like, "Now watch me," or "Watch me." I forget exactly, but basically said, "Now watch me do this just to get the black votes."
Wow.
It's basically essentially what it said. It's like they're trying to relate to the minority. And
Exactly.
I was actually reading an article where the Pope himself said that dance was used like 500 to like 800 years ago as a satanic dance ritual, which is pretty nuts because I don't know, we could have got into the whole Illuminati and elite and New World Order and stuff like that, but that's a whole
Next
other
time.
topic. But this is how I want to end it for this day right here. Just do your research. This is an imperialistic country. Besides us, it was the United Kingdom that almost conquered the world. This game is chess, so learn. It's not checkers. It's not about being king. You can be a pawn and still reach the end and become a queen. I'm not talking about Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner or anything like that. I'm just saying that remember that the pawn, when he reaches the end, you can choose to be anything except the king inside of that board. You have power. Unified, we can make change. That's how we got to where we're at. I'll put it like this. Some people might disagree with my stance on certain types of music or even history, facts, things like that. All I say is expose yourself to everything and just be aware of it. You have to really see the ugly. I've gone and I've seen certain things that I don't regret seeing, but it's just kind of like, wow, that's what's going on over there. Like that, like just south of the border, they're decapitating, kidnapping people. That's why you have this influx of immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so ignorant to say they're coming and they're rapists and they're criminals and they're taking our jobs. Do your research and understand, was it the manifest destiny, the Monroe Doctrine that caused all of this? Because we would pretty much walk around with a big stick and you mess with it, we're going to smack you back in line. And you know what? We used to sell slaves on our capital. This country is a business. Don't ever forget that. Research and really, really look into everything. Look into the Harrington Act, Operation Paperclip. Look into all these things that are there that did happen. Pearl Harbor, they knew about it. They put all the planes together.
The
You know what I'm
Tonkin
saying?
incident.
Exactly.
Gulf of Tonkin.
There's just so much out there, and you really, really, really need to open your eyes because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Too much
So
information.
much.
Truth be told.
We're
All right.
coming for you.
Wildstar,
We're going
thanks
to
for being
change your
here.
mind.
You want to do any plugs? You want to tell people about your YouTube or anything like that?
Yes, definitely. If people want to support me, I would say visit my website, of course, GovernorWildstar.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I try to do my best to create as many videos as I can and keep people up to date on what's going on in my
Keep
life.
videotaping.
Yeah, I mean, Governor Wildstar has not went underground. I'm still very much active in the movement, in the cause for liberty and freedom and justice for all. And I'll do everything that it takes to get there.
On that note, I want to give a shout out to the individual that stood around when you were being harassed by that cop. I think his name was Patrick.
Oh yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Patrick, wherever you're at, wherever you are. You know, that was awesome because that's what citizens need to do. We need to look out for each other regardless of the pigment or the color of your skin. You know, we're all humans. At the end of the day, we have hearts, we have brains, we have family. We just want to better ourselves as individuals. So I want to give him a shout out too.
Definitely. Wherever he is in life, he is definitely being protected by the
And what
light.
did he tell you? Why did he stick around?
He said, because I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want
I
to see
applaud
this
that.
on the news later and know that I could have been part of this or help prevent it.
Exactly.
You know?
That's
And
what we need. We need to look out for each other.
Yes, sir. So we're going to wrap it up. That's it. Open Your Mind podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week on, I think, Wednesday or something?
Wednesday. God willing.
Wildstar, thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. God bless you all.
God bless America.
The crowd agrees. I missed all the comments, man. People are hitting us up.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's
well,
so awesome.
they lost us.